MarkTaipi here, and welcome to this Excel tutorial on statistical functions. What exactly are we going to learn from this video? Number one, we will seek to understand these common statistical parameters, and we will calculate their values from this data set. And later, we will calculate average values, average salaries of unique job titles that we will obtain from this job title short column. And after that, we are going to plot this graph. This graph is going to help us understand visually from the data set just which data science jobs are top paying. Again, I want to give a shout out to Luke Barus for the provision of this data set of about 32,000 rows. Let's begin. We want to calculate the count of the cells containing numerical values of salary here averages. To do that, we use the count function. So we are going to provide the entire range of that column and it will do it for us. Average is calculated using the average function. Give it the range. Now the median. The median is the middlemost value of a range of your data. So we will use the median function for that. And now standard deviation. What is standard deviation? Standard deviation is a value that helps us to understand how your data values are spread about the mean or the average value. And to help us further understand that, I have a small data set here of two groups, performance in math. Group 1 has a performance of 70, 68, 71, and 69. And another group, one student 70, another 65, 80, 40. Let's calculate the average value of group 1 performance. Average function. Let's give it the range. Copy the same formula there, and we have it. Standard deviation. STD. Now notice when I type STD there, standard dev, there's a range of functions popping up. Of use to us is .p and .s. And .p stands for standard deviation based on the entire population. Suppose your data set is a composition of an entire population. That is the one that you will use. .s is a standard deviation. It estimates standard deviation based on a sample. And most often than not, your data set is just a sample of the entire population, and that is what you will most of the time use. Okay, and for our case, we are going to use just that. Let's give it the range. Copy the same formula there. Now, I want you to notice something here. The average or the mean value of group 1 is 69.5. And each and every value is very much close to the average value. That is why standard deviation there is so small, 1.29. For group 2, average is 63.75. Look at this. 80 far away from the average and 40 far away from the average. And that is why the standard deviation of that group is so huge, 17. And now I also have a bell curve. It is a standard graph that will help us even get more understanding of standard deviation. At 0 value here is your mean. And so when you move one standard deviation to the left of the mean, you have 34% of your data falling there. And when you go one standard deviation to the right of the mean value, you have 34% of your data falling there. So in total, moving one standard deviation to the left of the mean value and one standard deviation to the right of your mean value, 68% of the data will fall there. Continue. That was an in-depth one. Standard deviation .s. So let's calculate one standard deviation to the left of the mean value and see. So we will take the average value minus the standard deviation. So at this point, we shall have this average salary 74,953. And now average plus one standard deviation. Okay, so at this point we have 171. So that means salaries between 74,000 and 171,000 will form 68% of your data. Let's continue to the mean. that one we shall use the min function. That is the minimum value in the entire data set or data range. Let's calculate the maximum value using the max function. All right, now we want to explore. Okay, before that, let's calculate the mode, and mode is the most common value in a data set. All right, so the most common salary is 90,000. Now let's move on to explore quartiles. Now it happens that the 0th quartile is the minimum value, and the 4th quartile is the maximum value, and the median is the 2nd quartile. So already we have those values, but let's just delete these ones and use quartiles to calculate them. Okay, let's begin with quart. Now also notice when I type quart, we have a quart.exclusive and we have a quart.inclusive. Now quartile.inclusive will include even the 0th and the 4th quartile, while exclusive will exclude the 0th and the 4th quartile. Let's first use inclusive there to calculate the quartiles, and you will notice something. Let's give it the array, and then this one will be this quartile. So the good thing about autofill, you can do it going up and going down. Let's use exclusive option. Let's begin from this cell, equals to quartile.exclusive. Let's give it the array, and the quartile there is in U5. Click enter. Let's paste the same formula there, and as you can notice, at the 0th and the 4th quartiles is num error. Why? Because this function excludes the two quartiles. That is, you cannot obtain the minimum value and the maximum value using quartile.exc function. Okay, let us now extract unique job titles from the job title short column. Control B to make it bold. Control B, job titles, and to get the unique job titles we will use the unique function and select that cell. Control Shift down arrow key, click enter. Okay, double click at the end of the column to expand. Now we want to calculate average salaries. Average salaries. We will use the average if function because we want to evaluate the average if these job titles correspond to the one we will select here. Okay, and we are going to give the entire column as the range. Why? Because job title short is not in this list, so it is going to exactly match the job title that will correspond with our job titles here. Now let's go to criteria. Criteria is this one, and then the average range will come from salary average column. Double click to fill for the rest. Okay, I want these values to display currency notation and also reduce the decimal places there. So to do that, I can go to Home tab, and from this format section I can select the $sign and then click to decrease the decimal places to your liking. Let's now rank these average salaries. And now to rank them, let's use the rank function. A quick way to understand a certain formula, if you have a problem understanding it, just come to here at FX insert function, click it, and then the number, read the description, is the number for which you want to find the rank, and the ref is an array or a reference to a list of numbers. Okay, and then the order, if you want it to be arranged in ascending or descending order, you are going to use 0 for descending and 1 for ascending. Rank this, and our reference is this range or list, and we can rank it in, let's choose descending order, 0. Click enter, and there's a problem, and it's because we didn't lock this range. Lock it entirely. Click Fn F4 key click enter. So the reason why it was not working in the first place, because when we had not logged this, the moment it went to evaluate for data engineer, the range there changed from S2 to begin from S3, S2 to S12. So what we need to do in this one is to lock this entirely. So lock it absolutely using a 4 key. Autofilling, we have it. Okay, now we are ready to upload our graph and select these job titles and average salaries range like that. Go to insert tab, recommended charts, and the first one that pops up is clustered bar chart, of which I do like it. Click enter, and we have it. We can reduce this, probably take it there. All right, so we can tweak a little things here. We can say average salaries, or we can even change and say which data science jobs are top paying, and Control B to bold it. Now you can change the color to red. I do like it that way. And let me change the font size to 12 in order to fit there. Okay, I also can select these job titles and Control B to make them bold, and I can also change the color. I like it being conspicuous like that. And then I don't like the grid lines, so I can select, click on this chart elements and uncheck the grid lines. Something else, it's not appealing to me when this is displaying 50,000, 100,000, makes it difficult to see. So I want it to change in such a way that it will display 50k, 100k like that. So if you want to do that, click that axis, right click it again after selecting, come to format axis, under axis options, go down to number, come to category, and we want to change it to custom. Really hope you're seeing this then. Come to number, come to format code, Control A to select everything there, and then I type the $sign manually, then 0, put comma, double quotes, capital K, close the double quotes, and click add. And just like that, we have it. Alright, thank you for coming all the way in this tutorial to this point. I believe this has been valuable unto you, and just to appreciate it, do me one favor to like the video, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.